I see your face in the sun, making days so very bright. I see your face in the moon, lighting up the darkest night. I see your face in each flower and in every drop of dew. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. I see you in the mountains with such silent majesty. I see you in the treetops and in birds that fly so free. I see you in the eyes of friends when they look back at me. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. Even when dark clouds do sometimes hide the sun, and your face seems hidden, and I feel so all alone, I still know that I'm your child, surrounded by your grace. Please keep me ever close to you and show your precious face. I see you in each step I take, in every place I may be, in every face before my eyes, in waves upon the sea, in each and every pleasure, and even in my pain. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. I see you in my hopes and fears, and in my every song. I see you in my smiles and tears. To you I do belong. You're the soul within me and the love within my heart. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. Yes, you're the soul within me and the love within my heart. Oh, everywhere I look, there are you. Yes, everywhere I look, there are you. There are you. There are you.
Om Tadekam Smaramasthadekam Bhajamaha Tadekam Jagat Sakshi Rupam Namamaha Sadekam Nidhanam Niralambamisham Bhavam Bodhipotam Sharanyam Rajamaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. On that alone do we meditate, that alone do we worship, to that alone, the witness of the universe, do we bow. To that one who is our sole eternal support, the self-existent Lord, the raft to safety across the ocean of this world, do we come for refuge. Om, peace, peace, peace. Good morning. Wonderful to see all of you today. And thank you to Jayanti for the perfect song. Actually, she has covered the topic well. I think I can sit down again and we can all go with that thought. But we have 45 minutes or so to talk, so we'll be talking about some of those same ideas. How beautiful. Everywhere I look, I see only you. This is, our topic today is divine immersion. And that is one way of understanding divine immersion. We are always and ever immersed in the divine. Only we're not always aware of it. As the song also indicated, sometimes we forget. But then we still remember we are the Lord's child. We are the Mother's child. Everywhere we look, there we see the divine. We are immersed ever in the divine. So it's a very appealing concept to me. I conceived of this diving into the crystal clear waters of the ocean on a sunny day and diving deep down and surrounded by water on every side, above, below, all around us, that clear water, that infinite expanse of water on every side, below us, above us. Like a baptism, we are fully immersed in this water. And we are clean, cleansed and healed, fortified and fulfilled. And then maybe we start to feel that we are not what we thought we were. This is not a physical body immersed in this ocean. We are actually like the salt doll in Sri Ramakrishna's parable. And the salt doll starts to become saturated with salt water. And what happens? It starts to dissolve in the water. And we begin to gradually melt away in that infinite expanse of water, to dissolve into it as we become more and more permeated with the water of divinity. And as the last bit of salt dissolves, only that infinite ocean remains, that infinite ocean of the divine. The Pacific Ocean is an ocean of salt water, but the divine ocean is an ocean of consciousness, an ocean of light, infinite divine consciousness. The Upanishads, our Vedanta scriptures, call it Brahman. And they affirm, I'll chant a beautiful Sanskrit verse, affirming that that immortal Brahman alone is before us. That Brahman is behind us. That Brahman is to the right and to the left. Brahman alone pervades everything above and below. This universe is that supreme Brahman alone. Brahmaiva devam amritam purastad brahma paschat brahma dakshinatas chotarena adhaschordham cha prasitam brahmaivedam vishwamidam varishtham. So Sri Ramakrishna asks us to dive into this ocean. We are already immersed in it, as we heard in the song and as we know from our Vedanta teachings, but still, we don't realize it. So we are to dive into it. And he has an oft-repeated song. If we are students of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we'll come across this song again and again. He used to use songs as teaching tools to both impart ideas and also lift his listeners up with the beauty of the music. So he would sing this song, dive, dive, dive into that ocean of divine beauty. Go deep down, sink to the very depths. And I'll just sing the first line. It goes, Duba 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 rup shagore amar mon. Ore duba 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 rup shagore amar mon. Oh my mind. Dub means dive. So it's repeated, dub, 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 dive, dive, dive into that ocean, that infinite ocean of divine beauty, oh my mind. So it's a song addressed to the singer's own mind. Dive into that ocean of beauty. And he suggests, if we dive deep, if we are able to descend to the depths of that ocean, we find the true treasure, the mythology of gems lying at the bottom of the ocean. Of course, there are corals, I suppose. But we find the true treasure, which according to the song is prema, that overwhelming, one-pointed, all-encompassing divine love. So that is Sri Ramakrishna's request to us. Dive deep in that divine ocean to find the true treasure of life, divine love. Some of you know that I just returned from a pilgrimage to India. I was there for a month, and it was a divine immersion of sorts also. India, there is something special about India. You see, those who have been to India, they know. India is different. And I'd like to share a couple of highlights. One was I was staying in Haridwar, actually a suburb, a town called Kankhal, which is a town mostly of monasteries and ashramas, a lot of different monasteries and a lot of monks staying there. And we also have our monastery there and a hospital where we give free treatment and low-cost treatment to anybody who needs it, including the monks of other orders. And the sacred day of Mahalaya, this is the beginning of the 9 nights preceding which are part of the Durga Puja, we went for a holy dip in the river Ganges, the Ganga. She is the all-purifying river coming from the dizzy heights of the Himalayas, and she is the purifier. She cleanses us, it is said, of all our mistakes in life, all the negative things we may have done or said or thought. She washes them all away out of infinite grace. So it was amazing to see thousands and thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of people gathered around this central area in Haridwar called the Brahma Kund, which is considered the holy place to have this dip, this immersion in the Ganga. And I went with one of our young brahmacharan brothers, and I was bringing with me also a few ashes from the cremation of one of our brother monks, Swami Atmatattvananda Shiva. Perhaps some of you remember him. He used to speak here. He was an ecstatic mystic of sorts, and so after his death, we saved a few of his ashes to be immersed in the Mother Ganga. So I had those with me in a little Ziploc bag. Well, let's be practical here. And so there we were amidst these thousands of people, finding a little place where we could get into the water. And because there's so many people, so we have to, we change into a little bathing towel, as it were, carefully so that nothing inappropriate is exposed, and we change it. So I changed into my little towel, and my brother held my bag and my things, and I entered the water and immersed the ashes and immersed my body completely in this holy Ganga on this sacred day. And it was really an amazing experience to see how many people are drawn to this divine immersion, how many people are longing for that holy dip, longing to get their sins purified, longing to get closer to God. And that's really what it was about. It was also about remembering our brother and consigning his remains to the divine, as it were, remembering him and feeling that he is immersed fully in the divine at this point. And we are also immersing ourselves in the holy water of Mother Ganga. And then, of course, my brother took his turn. Then we went back feeling purified and recharged and blessed. Another experience I'd like to relate is I made a mountain trek on one of the famous pilgrimages of India to a very high mountain temple called Kedarnath. It's a temple to Lord Shiva. And it's a very ancient temple built in the heights of the Himalayas. You have to walk to get there. Unless you have lots of money, then you can take a helicopter. But for most of us, we have to walk or ride on a horse, which sounds nice, but it's not what you think it is. You're sitting. I walked, but you see people sitting on these horses, and there's every risk of falling off, because the paths are rough and the horses are being pulled by young men who are shouting at the horses all the time. And it's a challenge either way. So it's a pretty long and grueling trek. It's about 9 miles. a stone path, the pilgrims trudging up on this path. And what are they thinking? They are thinking of Lord Shiva. And they are chanting his name. And the pilgrims who are on the horses, they are also scared of chanting Shiva's name. They are getting filled with the thought of Shiva. Shiva's name on their lips, Shiva's name in their hearts. And for what? All for a chance to touch the Lord. The holy image of the Shiva is represented in the temple as a stone. There's a large stone which is said to be Swayambhu, means it existing eternally. Nobody set that image up, that lingam, that symbol of Shiva. Nobody installed it there. It was found there, and people recognized this is an emblem of the Lord. And they built a temple around it, and all these people are coming. Why? To touch the Lord. So the trek itself becomes a divine immersion. It's tough enough, and with the thin air and the heavy bags on the shoulders, and an older body, getting older. Sorry, I shouldn't say that here. Still young body, but not as young as it used to be. Let me put it that way. The only way to keep going on this path, the only way to put one step after another, is to hold on to that holy name, to hold on to the name of Shiva, and go on chanting his mantra. His mantra is, as we all know, Om Namah Shivaya. That mantra is going on and on with every step, Keep chanting it with every step, and gradually we become permeated with it, because it's the only way we can manage to make it through this grueling trek up the mountain. The name is on all the lips, it's reverberating in all the hearts, and we find that the path itself is reverberating with the mantra. Every step is filled with the mantra. The feeling of communion with the other pilgrims are also filled with the mantra. In fact, the path itself is the Lord. The scenery around us is the Lord. The pilgrims are the Lord, and we're all struggling to reach the Lord. So this is finally we reach the holy precincts of the temple and offer our worship there. And we also realize that the most important part of the pilgrimage was not reaching the temple. The most important part was the journey. The most important part was the struggle to reach the temple and to fill ourselves with the thought of God and be immersed in the thought of the divine and become completely purified by that continual chanting and struggle. And finally, we reach the temple, and with great joy, we offer our worship in the shrine. And the natural beauty of the Himalayas, actually, beauty is not the right word. Words fail to describe the tremendous vastness, the awesome glory, the majesty of those peaks. You have to see them to understand. Pictures, videos just doesn't convey that experience of being in the presence of these peaks. They are the visible manifestations of infinity, and the eyes do not tire of looking at them. And I often wondered, why is it that we can look at these majestic peaks for hours and not get tired, not get bored? I think it's because they remind us of that infinite beauty, that infinite majesty, which is our own soul. They are the best representation, the most clear manifestation of infinity in this physical world. That the ocean and the Himalayan peaks are the two manifestations of infinity in physical matter that we can perceive directly. So being in the mountains is itself being immersed in divinity, because these mountains do seem to be divine. They're special. They're magic. So this was my experience of the trek and pilgrimage to visit the Lord at Kedarnath. And as we descend off the mountain, we're filled with this contentment of an ardent wish fulfilled, and still feeling that thrill of knowing that we are always immersed in the divine. Last Monday night, we observed our annual worship of the Divine Mother, Mother Kali. Probably many of you heard about it. It was probably announced here also. It was in Hollywood, and since every year, since 1948, I believe, is that right? Or 49? 48. We have been worshiping the Divine Mother in a sacred ritual that's hundreds of years old, has its roots back into the ancient prehistory. And we spent much of the night in worship and prayer to the Divine Mother Kali. She is the Dark Mother. She is the union of opposites. She blesses her children and tells them, don't be afraid, and I'm providing whatever you need. But in her other two hands, she holds a bloodied cleaver and a severed human head, which is dripping with blood. So the union of opposites, she holds everything. And of course, there's a symbology. The head is actually the demon, or the head is our own demon ego, which causes us so much suffering, and she liberates us from our own darkness. But yes, she also has her terrifying aspect. There's no doubt about it. So as part of these rituals, the Divine Mother is invoked in an image, a physical image made of clay. In this case, it was made with an armature of straw and covered with clay and then a thin layer of paint. And Divine Mother is invoked in this image. And the process is called, there's a Sanskrit term called avahana, which means calling. We call the Mother, we invite the Mother, we invoke the Mother, the presence of the Mother in the image. And then we begin to feel that she is living, the image is living. And with great joy, we proceed with the worship. This image has been made by a devotee, and it takes months of different steps in creating her. And the worship takes many hours, and with mantras and music and prayer and meditation and flowers upon flowers upon flowers heaped at the Mother's feet. Oblations of ghee offered into the holy fire that has also been invoked with the Mother's presence. It too is a kind of experience of divine immersion. For those hours at least, we are immersed in the thought of Mother and Mother alone, and the music and the atmosphere. It surrounds us, and we feel filled with joy and enthusiasm and reassured that, yes, I have a Mother. So it may come as a surprise to those of you who don't know what we do a few days later. Yesterday, we took that image of Divine Mother, who has been gracing the Hollywood Shrine since Monday. We took her down to Newport Beach, and we got on a boat at the Fun Zone Boat Company. And we went out onto the Pacific Ocean. And there, we took Mother and we asked her, we entreated her earnestly, Mother, please come again next year. And then we took her to the side of the boat, and with loud cries of, glory to our Divine Mother, we threw her overboard. So this is called the Kali Immersion. We immerse the image. And this is actually what gave me the idea for the title of the talk, was that we worship the Mother with great love and joy, and then we throw her overboard. What's this all about? We throw her into the water. The term is called Visarjan in Sanskrit, and it means to send forth, to dismiss, or to dissolve. And it's specifically used in this tradition, and there are many different deities which are worshipped in this way in India. In Bengal especially, besides Kali, there's also Durga, Saraswati, Jagadhatri, Lakshmi. All these, they make an image, and then after the worship, they immerse the image in water, and she dissolves back. So it's a process of manifesting form out of the formlessness and then dissolving back into the formlessness. We are reminded that everything that takes form will also dissolve. Everything which manifests in this world has a beginning, and it will have an end, including these forms. And yet that which is eternal does not die, does not dissolve. So the Mother does not We don't throw the mother overboard, actually. We only throw her form overboard, and it returns to the formless. So I had the good fortune, as part of my pilgrimage, to be at our main monastery at Belur Mutt during the Durga Puja. Now, we had Durga Puja here, and here we had it for it takes about 2.5 hours for the worship. And it's a wonderful experience, and those of you who could attend probably also tasted some of that feeling of divine immersion as the worship is going on and the music. And we feel the presence of the divine. We feel like we're in the presence of the divine. So at our main monastery, we do that worship not for 2 hours, but for probably something like 10 hours for 3 days straight. So that's like 30 hours. So multiply by 15 to understand how that mood of divine immersion at our main monastery. It's a tremendous experience and a phenomenon. So what happens? It's the great autumn worship festival of Divine Mother, and it's a weaving together of several different mythological strands in Hindu scriptures. And one is that Mother Durga is the mother goddess who protects us and slays the demons. And we are her children. She's always ready to protect us and save us. And she is specifically the mother who is described in the Chandi as the one who slew the buffalo demon, Mahishasura. So her image is one of, she's standing on her lion with one foot on the demon, and the demon's buffalo head has been severed, and his green demon body has come out, and she's stabbing him with her trident, and he's just expiring at that moment. So this is one of the strands. But she is also the divine daughter. And she has come home to her parents and to all of us, though we are her children, but also she comes to us as our divine daughter. And she comes and stays from her in-laws. She comes home to her family for 3 days. And after 3 days, she goes back to her Himalayan abode because she has married Lord Shiva, who lives up in Mount Kailas, the great mountain peak in Tibet. And so she goes back after 3 days of staying with mom and dad. She goes back and leaves us all distraught again. So this puja is celebrated in every town, and in the larger towns and cities, in every neighborhood. Communities get together and pool their resources to put on a Durga Puja. And we find even, so at Belur Mutt, it's done on a grand scale, and to following the scriptural injunctions meticulously. So it's quite an experience. Long before this worship begins, we begin to anticipate Mother is coming. Mother is coming. We see the image begin to take form because the sculptors sculpt the image right there at the monastery. There's a little shed set aside for that. And first, there's a straw armature built, and then it's covered with clay, and then the clay cracks, and they put another layer, and then gradually the mother's form begins to take shape. And not only the mother, but also her children. That means Lakshmi, Saraswati, Ganesha, Kartika, and their vahanas, their vehicles. The mother rides a lion, and Lakshmi rides a lotus, no? And an owl, and Saraswati rides a swan, and Ganesha rides a mouse, and Kartika rides a peacock. So all of these are there, and gradually it takes form, and songs are sung expressing the longing that Mother, please come, it's your time to come. And so gradually the anticipation is heightened, and we are expecting her to come. I arrived on the evening of the 6th day of the nine days, and the preparations are in full swing. And on the morning of the seventh day, the mother is invoked in the image. Now, how is this done? There's a special place in this process for what is called the meditation mantra. A mantra which is about 7-8 verses long, which describes the form of Divine Mother. And the worshippers, and many of us, we memorize this mantra, and it describes how she is, how her glorious form and her 10 arms and the different weapons she's holding, and how she is killing the demon, and how she is also finally granting us liberation. So all this description of Divine Mother is chanted, and that helps the worshipper who's conducting the worship envision the mother's form in his heart. So ideally, he sees the mother's form shining in his heart with the help of this meditation mantra, and of course lots of practice. He sees the mother's image shining in his heart. And what does he do then? He takes that image and he takes a flower and he brings it up to his nose, and he breathes ever so gently through the left nostril. I'm not sure why the left nostril, but left nostril gently breathes onto the flower and feels that the mother who is within him and is within all of us comes out into the flower. And then that flower is placed before the image, the external image, and we begin to feel that Mother who was within us, within all of us, has come out and entered this physical image to accept our worship in a physical way. And then the mother's presence is further cemented with a number of different mantras and mudras, and that process itself takes probably an hour of different processes to cement the presence of the mother in the image. And then, with great joy, the worship starts, and so many different offerings are laid before her. For the next 3 days, from morning till night, different rituals are performed. And because Mother Durga doesn't get worshipped by herself, she gets worshipped along with all her entourage. And she also has an entourage, besides those already described, she has an entourage of 64 yoginis. And each one of them gets a short worship, each and every one of them. And then it's said that she also has an entourage of 10 million yoginis. They get worshipped en masse. They don't get worship each separately, but so all these also get worshipped, so that everybody and all the weapons that she is holding, they're divine weapons. So the weapons also, the chakra, the noose, the spear, the goad, they also get worship. So it's a non-stop worship from morning to night, and thousands, tens of thousands of people throng to the monastery. Why? To sit in that atmosphere, to bathe in that divine atmosphere created by this divine worship and get immersed in it, and to have darshan. So there's a long line of devotees, and there's a big tent, as it were, made of bamboo and cloth, and very fancy, looks beautiful. You'd never guess it's just bamboo and cloth. And on either side, the devotees are sitting, the women on the right side, the men on the left side, and in the center there's an aisle, and the devotees line up there just to come before Mother and see her. That is called darshan. They want to see the Mother. Not only they want to see the Mother, they want to be seen by the Mother. We want to see and be seen, and the Mother should see us. And it's beautiful to see how people are uttering their heartfelt prayers to Mother for whatever they need in their life, and feeling that Mother is specially manifest here. So this is the experience of Durga Puja. One of the and the devotees also get to offer their handfuls of flowers. It's called Pushpanjali. Everybody is given a flower, and special mantras are chanted, and then those flowers are laid at the feet of the Divine Mother. So we also got that chance to offer flowers in the worship. Every evening, the arati is performed as we do here. Every evening, Mother Durga's arati is performed, not by one worshipper, by 3 worshippers. And they all stand and wave the lights. They offer back to the Mother this universe which is hers after all. And one unique feature. On the 8th day of the worship, this is one of the most popular parts of the whole 3 days. It's called the Kumari Puja. A young girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, is worshipped as Mother Durga. She is placed on a throne before the image, and she is dressed to look like a divine goddess. She looks like a goddess. She's wearing a beautiful sari, and her face is decorated with sandal paste, and she's got beautiful jewelry. And somehow, she also starts to manifest that calmness, that beauty of the Divine Mother. She sits patiently for about an hour for a young girl of 5 or 6 to sit quietly in a chair while maybe 10,000 devotees are looking at her, and a young man is sitting at her feet, offering things at her feet. That's remarkable. And we feel that the Mother's actually manifests in this young girl. The breathless, thousands of devotees breathlessly watching. And then the women, they raise their voices in this ululation, which when you hear it, that they all do that ululululu, and it makes the hair on your body stand on end to hear that. And so Sri Ramakrishna used to see the Divine Mother in all women. So it's easier perhaps for us to see the Divine Mother in a young, pure-hearted girl who has been dressed like a goddess and is being worshipped on the platform of the worship hall. It's a little easier, but actually the lesson is Divine Mother dwells in all hearts and especially manifests through all women. So this was Sri Ramakrishna's special teaching. So finally, the 10th day of the worship arrives, and the 10th day of the puja, and it's the time for Mother to return to her heavenly abode. And it's a very bittersweet moment. On the one hand, we know the celebration must come to an end. Like everything in this world, the Durga Puja also comes to an end every year. And after all, we can't maintain this kind of intense worship all year round. It just would be impossible. But that the Mother should go away? We have enjoyed her intimate presence for the last 3 days. Where will she go? How can we say goodbye? So actually, many people weep on this 10th day, saying goodbye to the Mother. And but where do we ask her to go? There's some beautiful mantras. Tishta tishta pare sthane, swasthane parameshwari, yatra brahmadaya sarve suratishtanti me hridi. Uttare shikhare devi bhumyam parvata vasini, brahma yoni samutpanne gaccha devi mamantaram. Abide, O Supreme Goddess, in your own supreme abode, that place where Brahma and all the gods dwell, that place within my heart. O Goddess, who dwells upon the northern mountain of the earth, O you who have arisen from the womb of Brahman, go now and enter within me. So these are the prayers which are uttered when it's time to say goodbye to the Mother. Not go away from here, come back inside me. So interestingly, the process which I described of invoking the Mother's presence in the image, where the worshipper will meditate on the image of the Mother and then breathe gently on a flower and place the flower on the image, exactly the reverse process is done. A flower is placed on the image, and then the worshipper takes that flower in a special mudra and smells it and feels that while he's inhaling, the Mother's presence is going back into his heart. And then we feel that the Mother has come back into his heart, so now the image is no longer, as it were, living. It's still a holy image, but Mother's presence is not manifesting through it in the same intensity. And then there's a second step, which is called the immersion in a mirror. There's a large bowl of water placed before the Mother, and then the worshipper takes a mirror and looks points the mirror down, and so he can catch the reflection of the Divine Mother in that mirror. And he sees the Divine Mother in the mirror, and then he gently places the mirror in the water, so that the Mother her image is immersed in the water. So then, of course, there are those special entreaties to Mother to please come again next year. Don't stay away. Not that we're saying goodbye to you forever. It's only for the time being. You're going to stay in our hearts, and next year you'll come again in physical form. And then the image is taken in procession to the bank of the Ganga, which is flowing there at our monastery, or in other places to the bank of a nearby river or a large pond or the ocean, depending on where the worship is done. And there are final worship is offered, some food is offered, the lights are waved, and then people go mad in a sort of ecstasy of joy, and they start dancing, and there's drums playing, and people dance in joy, singing the Mother's name, and then with big shouts of glory to the Mother, the whole structure, the image with the Mother Durga and all the others, is lifted up and brought into the water, and then she falls back into the water and is immersed in the Ganga. And she returns back to the formless. It's an interesting experience, because on the one hand we feel like weeping because Mother's going away, and on the other hand we want to rejoice because the Mother has conquered our hearts and is now again in our hearts. And I'm using the term conquered because it's called the day of Vijaya, the day of victory, the day when the Mother has conquered the demons. The Mother has expelled the demons that dwell within us, the demons of lust and greed and anger and jealousy, which hurt us so much. She has expelled those demons and filled us rather with her love. So it's the day of Vijaya. And after this immersion of Mother Durga, that water in which she was immersed is taken in a pot and sprinkled on everybody, and that's called the water of peace. And we get that peace water, and we feel blessed. And then, this is also beautiful, everybody embraces. The juniors touch the seniors' feet, and then they embrace in what's called kolakuli, a kind of 3 times embrace, almost like a European something. Indians are not huggers like Americans. Americans will hug at the drop of a hat, but not everybody in the world is like that, and Indians are not like that. But on the Vijaya day, Indians also embrace each other. And it's beautiful to see how it smooths out maybe you had some misunderstanding with someone, but on the Vijaya day, you'll embrace. And after all, we are all children of the same Mother. So this is the tradition of embracing on the Vijaya day, the day of when the Mother is established in her victory. So the infinite Mother, who must be formless, because how can the infinite have a form? She takes her form out of grace for us so we can adore her, we can worship her, and then again she dissolves into the formless. And we are reminded of the impermanence of all forms, including our own, and yet affirm the victory of love over hatred, of oneness over duality, of the mother, that mother power over the forces of darkness. There's a touching description of Durga Puja in Sri Ramakrishna's time. Don't think we have time to go into the whole thing, but this was before his disciples had come to him. The proprietor of the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar, Mathuranath Bishwas, he was a very wealthy man, the son-in-law of the foundress, Rani Rashmani, and he celebrated Durga Puja on a grand scale on his own. He and his family, they had the means, the funds to put on such a big affair. And so they were celebrating Durga Puja in a meticulous fashion, and Sri Ramakrishna was present. And Mathuranath looked on Sri Ramakrishna as his father. He used to call him father. And with Sri Ramakrishna's presence, the God-intoxicated, mother-intoxicated sage of Dakshineshwar, present at his home in Calcutta where the worship is going on. So everybody felt a special elevation of spirit, that the mother is really here, she's living. And the puja, the worship is going on, as I described, for the 7th day and the 8th day and the 9th day. And Swami Saradananda describes how the image appeared to be living and smiling and to be made of light. Again, the manifestation of the mother in that image and the manifestation of the same mother in Sri Ramakrishna's divine body and mind combined together to fill the atmosphere of the worship hall with an indescribable and indefinable divine presence, felt even by the dullest minds. So this was the experience of the puja, and Sri Ramakrishna was often in ecstasy. Now, on the last day, we know that the last day is the day when we say goodbye to Mother, as it were, and she comes back into our hearts and goes off to her. So Swami Saradananda describes how the image itself was to be immersed after sunset. Now, it was the morning of the 10th day. The priest was hastily finishing the mother's brief worship of the day. For the looking glass, as I told you, the mirror, has to be immersed at the moment prescribed in the almanac. The image itself was to be immersed after sunset. There descended, as it were, a shadow of sadness over the minds of all the household. And there was a feeling of an indescribable and undefined fear of an inevitable immediate separation from a very dear person. So Mathur's wife, since the morning, she had been often dabbing her eyes with the end of her cloth, wiping the tears while she was engaged in her duties. But Mathurnath, he was oblivious. He had no idea that the 10th day of worship had arrived. He was happily thinking that in bliss, that he's in the joy of the thought of Mother. His heart, as it's described here, his heart was swelling with joy, having brought the Mother of the universe to his house and enjoying the blessed company and grace of Father, that is Sri Ramakrishna. He was experiencing a fullness of joy within himself. Who was interested in what was to happen in the world? And where was the need? His days would undoubtedly pass in that way in the company of the divine Mother and Father. And just then word came from the priest. He's the proprietor, he's the head of the household. He needs to come be present for the immersion ceremony, the Visarjan. And at first he couldn't even understand what was being said. And when he finally grasped what was happening, it was like getting hit in the head with a load of bricks. Filled with grief and pain, he began to think, what? Mother to be immersed today? Why? And ultimately, he said, no, don't immerse the image. I won't permit it. I will continue her worship every day. I have the means to do it. I'm going to do it. So everybody was worried. What are we going to do? And he came to say, I will never allow anyone to immerse the Mother. The worship will continue as it is going on now. If anybody immerses the Mother without my approval, a grievous disaster is sure to happen. There may even be bloodshed and murder. So everybody got nervous. So nobody could convince him. They tried to convince him. Nobody could do anything. So, of course, they called on Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna came, saw that Mathur sitting deeply absorbed in thought, rather pacing up and down the room with his face somber and his eyes red. And as soon as he saw Sri Ramakrishna, Mathur said, let them say whatever they like, Father. I cannot bid goodbye to Mother before I breathe my last. I have told them I shall perform her daily worship. How can I do without Mother? Sri Ramakrishna just touched his heart. He passed his hand over his heart. And he said, oh, is this your fear? But who says that you will have to be without Mother? Moreover, where will she go, even if the ceremony of immersion be gone through? Can a mother afford to be away from her child? Sitting in the outer hall, she accepted your worship these 3 days. And she will now be nearer to you, sit in your heart and accept your worship. So in this way, Sri Ramakrishna pacified Mathur. And Swami Saradananda supposes that most likely when Sri Ramakrishna touched Mathur, he also granted him the experience of seeing Mother in his heart. because he had that power to grant a spiritual experience just by a touch. So this was the rather humorous incident, which could have turned ugly in the life of Mathurnath and Sri Ramakrishna. So what is the lesson from all of this? And I think each of us will find our own lesson. The value of image worship. I feel that this experience I had of Durga Puja gives me a deep appreciation for the value of worshiping an external image. It helps us feel the reality of the divine, and it cements the community together. The community comes together and sets aside their differences, ideally, and even embraces at the end of the worship. And yet ultimately we know that the divine is within. And we say farewell to the mother, but actually we don't say farewell to her. We only let her form go, let her form dissolve, and feel that she is installed ever in our hearts. Where to find God? We started out with that idea that wherever we look, we are seeing the divine. The divine is within us and without us, everywhere, in the beauty of nature and the pure-hearted children and saints, easier to see. But the divine is shining in the hearts of all beings and in our very own hearts. So let us try to feel the presence of the Mother. Let us try to feel that divine presence however we can. As Swami Prabhupada used to say, by hook or by crook, whatever method works for us to feel the divine, whether it is ritual worship or chanting the name or spending time in nature, but devote time to it. It takes effort. Internalize it. Repeat the mantra. Immerse ourselves in the holy name. Whatever it may be, may we attain that state when we can see the divine shining in all hearts, including our own, and remain in that state of divine immersion. Thank you.
Where shines your light. tears wash my face from the tears that do fall. Fill my heart with your grace, ocean of bliss over all, ocean of bliss over all, ocean of bliss over all.
Thank you, Jayanti. Announcements. October 29, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Reading from the book God Lived With Them, reading about Swami Vijnanananda currently. The book is by Swami Chaitanananda. November 1st, Saturday, 5 p.m. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, reading and discussion with Swami Chidbrahmananda. And next Sunday, In the Image of God. Also, Swami Chidbrahmananda will be speaking. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share my experiences and my thoughts with you. So I thank you for coming. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Srishti Sthiti Vinashanam Shakti Bhute Sanatani Gunashraye Gunamaye Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute. O Thou, the giver of all blessings, O Thou, the doer of all good, O Thou, the fulfiller of all desires, O Thou, the giver of refuge, O Thou, the beautiful, who sees all with the eye of true wisdom and love, our salutations to Thee, O Mother Divine. O Thou, eternal Mother, Thou hast the power to create, to preserve, and to dissolve. Thou, the dwelling place and embodiment of the three gunas. Our salutations to Thee, O Mother Divine. O Thou, the Savior of all who take refuge in Thee, the lowly and the distressed, who takest away the sufferings of all. Our salutations to Thee, O Mother Divine. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.